Afternoon, everybody, and welcome to our first webinar. I'm not sure webinar is the right title. Our first session, our first communication.
Our first fireside chat.
That's the one. Fireside didn't seem very appropriate for September. I'm still holding on to the summer.
Yeah, yes. Well, the weather doesn't quite agree with you, I don't think.
So we've got 7 or 8 people on the meeting. We just wait a couple of minutes because there are a bunch more people registered. So I can sing if you like to entertain us while we wait. I don't know, Paul, have you got any party tricks you want to share that are appropriate for a Teams meeting environment?
No, I don't. I wasn't prepared for that. Yes, Claire, I fully agree with you. We should not be singing. Interestingly, the system didn't allow everybody straight in, so the people that were sat in the lobby, I've just let in. So.
This also the first time I've used Teams for an event like this. So.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, the introduction to Microsoft 365 has been a steep learning curve for me for the last few months, and every day is a school day for me. I feel Absolutely. Like I've lost all my superpowers and I'm relearning them, one email and one SharePoint document at a time.
So for those who've just joined, we're just waiting a couple of minutes for other people to join the meeting. We're about 50% of the people who registered have attended. So I think we'll start almost now, I suppose. Paul, or one of the Merac or Cheeselet people on the call, can you just let me know with a thumbs up or something like that, if you can see the slide deck with the Candy Floss girl?
Yes.
Beautiful. All right.
Lots of thumbs up. Thank you, team. Oh, it's an interactive webinar. This is brilliant.
Well, that's the intention, which leads me quite nicely onto our agenda and just what we're planning to talk to you about today. We've already spoken to an awful lot of people who are on the meeting, so you've heard what we're trying to do and who we are. Some people, though, we haven't, so I thought Paul and I had just rattled through that very quickly. And then we move on to areas that we haven't talked about necessarily or haven't shared everything around. And that's really on what are we planning to do, why have we done this, and where are we going. And then there's a very brief slide about what we're planning to do over winter, because if you've joined the meeting, you probably received our newsletter that went out earlier this week, detailing a couple of things that we need to look at. And then our aspiration for this session and for all the other subsequent sessions that we do like this is it's an interactive conversation format, almost sort of ask me anything or ask us anything. We will be running these regularly, and we will be inviting other people to come and present and come and take part in the conversations, but we're trying to start this community. So if you have anything to contribute, please just stick a message in the chat, ask a question, and we'll invite you to come and speak. If you don't want to present and you want us to read out what you're saying, please just put that in a note as well for those of you who don't want to appear on camera. So without further ado, who are we? So I'm Andy. You're meant to say I'm Paul at this point, Paul.
It's like 2 Ronnies, isn't it? But I missed my cue then. I was waiting for you to elaborate a little more than that. Hi, everyone. I'm Paul.
Perfect. We are 12 months ago, Paul and I met in Ask restaurant. It wasn't Ask, was it?
No, it
some
wasn't.
posh restaurant in Windsor. And those of you who follow me on LinkedIn, you'll see that I am quite opinionated about how online experiences for attraction should work. So Paul got both barrels of a rant.
I was expecting a lovely lunch, and you turned up with a laptop and a PowerPoint presentation, as I remember.
Yeah. Yeah. And we decided that we could do something together to improve the world of guest experience, particularly online. Obviously, with Paul's background as a web developer, for the visitor attractions world. So that's who we are. That's where we're going, and that's where I come from, I suppose. For those of you who don't know me, I'm old. I've been doing attraction ticketing before the internet was really popularly used. So I've been doing this kind of thing for about 30 years. Paul?
Yeah, I'm not quite as old as Andy, but I'm not far behind. I've been around the block a few times as well. My very first visitor attraction that I worked in was the National Botanic Garden of Wales, when it was still a muddy pit in the ground. So I'm quite fond of the old Millennium projects. I've been running my own digital agency for about 15 years, and I merged my previous agency with Rubber Cheese uh, 3 or 4 years ago. I've lost track. And Rubber Cheese is a digital agency that many of you be familiar with, that specialise in visitor attractions, so museums, heritage railways, theme parks, and the like. And I always viewed our job at Rubber Cheese to get people to the buy now button. So how do we get people onto the website? How do we get them from arriving at the website to actually buying tickets? And when Andy came with his rant, it was quite interesting, because there was a number of things that you said to me over lunch, of things that you wanted to do that Rubber Cheese had been doing previously for its existing clients. And now when we bring Rubber Cheese together with Merac under the Crowd Convert banner, I think our responsibility now is throughout the entire guest journey. It doesn't stop at the buy now button where I was before with Rubber Cheese. It's about guiding them through the experience of buying their tickets, supporting them on their way to arriving at the attraction, supporting them throughout the experience whilst they're there, and then working with them to perhaps turn them into members and support those customers after they've finished the attraction. My experience in the world of attractions is not as extensive as Andy. Obviously, you've been here for 25 years, man and boy, working doing this. But I've been working in digital for a considerable amount of time in the last 4 years, really focusing on the attraction sector.
So, in summary, I suppose we're both very passionate about the world of visitor attractions, and that's why we're doing this.
Absolutely.
So, what are we doing? Not driving PowerPoint very well. We've tried to sum this all up as under a strapline of rehumanizing commerce. For far too long, the attractions industry has been very, very badly served by every provider of ticketing systems, booking platforms out there. And I'm responsible for part of this, or historically responsible for part of this. It's become an IT system, and we're looking at this with IT brains and with IT answers. And there's a huge amount of talk about AI and chatbots being used to simplify processes for booking, and it's all, frankly, a load of rubbish. In
our humble opinion.
I don't think I'd say humble. In my opinion, it's all a load of rubbish. Visitor attractions work exceptionally well because they're places that people go to create memories with their friends, family, and loved ones. There is no more analog experience than going to an attraction, whether that's a theme park, a railway, a zoo, a garden. It's all about face-to-face, real-life experiences. Yes, there's some fantastic technology in use within those experiences to enhance those experiences, but I think the cul-de-sac that we've run down as system and solution providers for attractions has ended up looking at far too much of the technology, the nuts and bolts of how it all works. Yeah, we've really lost the magic of what an attraction should be about, and we're calling that rehumanizing commerce. So that's what we're doing. We completed the transaction to acquire Merac on 10th of June.
Yes.
I've got a nod from Paul, thank you.
It both feels like yesterday and an entire lifetime ago that I've aged in those short months.
So what have we been doing? And the key thing really is listening.
Yeah.
Listening to our teams, listening to our customers, and listening to people who aren't yet our customers. And really trying to understand, test our theories, test our ideas with people. Are we barking up the wrong tree? Is this completely bonkers? Or is this a sensible use of the next 10, 15 years of our lives? So as a result of that, we've done some things. So the first area that we focused on really is communication and service. And having gone and spoken to probably 50% of our customer base, we've gathered loads of information. And really that is summarized in these 4 points. Service and communication is the number one issue that's been letting us down. Some of you said that the support team feels uninterested or seems uninterested in your issue. It also feels like you get charged for everything. And we've got problems with tickets getting stuck. So a call is logged through a form online, and you're not getting any feedback. We're not coming back to you frequently enough with updates. So what have we done so far? We've refocused our support teams to really try and make them look at things from a customer's perspective first. We've rebranded this as the experience engineers because I needed something that declared we were making a difference. I wanted to make a very, very public statement about the fact that we were changing this because I need your help. If we're not delivering on these customer first promises, and if you feel that you are still getting an uninterested response or the tickets are getting stuck, please call me. Because you telling me what's going off is the best feedback I can get, or Paul can get, we can get to improve things. We've reintroduced the phone number.
And we like to use it as well, don't we?
Well, we're trying to. We've been far too focused in the past on our service level targets, all this kind of stuff. They're important, absolutely important, but much more important for me is another metric called first time fix. So that's when you pick up the phone, you phone us and say, this is broken. And while you're on the phone, one of our experienced engineers will fix the problem for you while they're there. We can't do that if you're logging a call via email. We need you to pick up the phone. So as well as educating our teams internally to be much more focused on speaking to people, it's a request to you all to start using our phone number and giving us making it work. It's a two-way thing. It's a relationship.
So many of the challenges around support tickets and getting things resolved right first time every time can be solved so quickly in just a short conversation, which is why we want to go back to encouraging people to use the telephone for all of their tickets, not just for the high priority P1s, because you can get through so much, can't you, in just a 5-minute conversation that otherwise could bounce backwards and forwards in emails. Can you tell me this? Can you check on this? Can you tell me what version of this that you're using? Can you give me the steps to reproduce it? That actually those emails could bounce backwards and forwards over days or weeks, and still we would have been meeting our SLAs, but completely missing the point that the customer still had a problem. So a quick conversation at the beginning of it can save a lot of time and heartache for everyone, can't it?
I hope so. And then more recently, we asked Claire Furnival to join us to head up this team. Claire and I have worked together in the past. A lot of you have already met her and spoken to her. Claire is a completely opposite personality to me, which is great, because if you have too many of the same kind of thing, life becomes really boring. Claire is possibly one of the best people I've ever met in terms of holding people to account, delivering what's promised, and more importantly for me, making sure that I don't promise things that she's not comfortable with her and our ability to deliver. So keep watching this space. Claire, I hope you're blushing. So that's what we've done so far. And I was talking to the support team 2 days ago, or our experienced engineers 2 days ago, and they said that this is already starting to show some feedback or show some benefits, in that the tone of conversations that they're having is actually now much more friendly. And I'm hoping that's because we're reducing some frustrations. This is a journey. It's not something I can fix overnight. So this is what we've done so far. We're doing some other things as well. One of our biggest issues in delivering the service is the fact that we've had to separate the help desk from the K3 help desk, which has been more difficult than we thought it was going to be. So we're just working through that right now. Paul, I don't know when it's supposed to be live.
No, Claire and I are agreeing dates on that, and we will feed back to everyone shortly. We will need to make some changes so that people are aware of phone numbers and email addresses if they want to use that, or the URL of the support portal. Exactly the same sorts of functionality that you were used to with the previous K3 support desk, but using a different tool. And more importantly, it's a tool that is embedded throughout the entire organization. So your client success managers will have access to the support system, and will be able to see when they're jumping onto calls with you, what tickets you might have open at the moment, or we've also going to make sure that the dev team and the training team have access into it as well. So this is a joined up solution for us, as opposed to being, it's not a technical support system. That's far too narrow. What we want is a system that enables us to manage the service that we provide to you, and make sure that everybody that touches that service within the organization has got a single joined up view of what the world looks like for your particular attraction.
And for the more technical people in the audience, that's based on HubSpot.
Sorry,
you're
I should have
interested.
said that.
And if you're really interested, call Paul. He'll talk to you for quite a long time about it.
I'll bore you about HubSpot and CRM and support systems.
One of the other things we're doing is introducing an Ask Me Anything session. We will put a page on our website where you can go and book a half-hour time slot free of charge to ask Adam, our trainer, or any other person from our experienced engineering team how you do something. Some of the feedback we've had is some of the tasks that you do on the system that you might only do once a year can be quite difficult and can be quite complicated. Now that's the yin to the yang of the system being massively configurable. If it's massively configurable to meet your requirements, it's going to be quite complicated to manage all of that configuration. So rather than you sit and try and struggle how to set up your events for next year in January when you're just getting ready to reopen after the Christmas break, and that potentially going wrong and you getting frustrated and the system not working as it should do, we want to give you the opportunity to pick up the phone and sit with someone, and we'll do it with you. We're going to start with a couple of hours a week at different time slots during the day where you can go in and book your half-hour session. If the demand's sufficient, then we'll add more. It's actually in our interests for you to get this right, because if it's set up correctly, then we don't get a support call. So what had historically been seen as a profit center and a revenue generating exercise, we're doing away with. We want to get the whole process being much more efficient, and it becomes more efficient by talking to us. Jenny's just asked a question. The sessions will be private and will be one-on-one.
But
I don't know,
you could totally imagine that one of those private sessions might identify a training need that other people have got, and we might roll it anonymized into a fireside chat webinar like we're doing here, so that other people could share in that conversation.
Thank you, Paul. And then until we get that page up to book, then just drop us an email and get in touch with your experienced engineer, and they will book in a time slot for you.
Yep.
And this is the first of our monthly webinar series. Before CrowdConvert acquired Merac, Dave was running a monthly webinar on all sorts of different features and things. I attended the last one, and it's great. It gives an awful lot of information, but for me, that was too detailed. I want to be hosting these webinars on a monthly basis where we're talking about what we're doing. We're setting out some direction of travel. We're talking about what's going on in the industry. And it may well be that we invite people from outside of our business to come and join us on these webinars to talk about what they're seeing going off in the industry.
Yeah.
Collectively, we have a huge resource that's available to everybody that uses the Merac solution, and that resource is you. Your experiences, what you're doing to solve those problems. How are we dealing with the economic crisis at the moment? What are we doing about the farmers' family tax, or I'm not going to get political, but how are you addressing the issues that are all coming in? What are you doing about Martin's Law? Let's start sharing all of that. Doesn't cost us anything. And then we're looking at a user group. So those of you know Kerry Spink, she's on maternity leave at the moment, but her feedback on the user group was that yes, we tried them, and for the last one, no one came. So I'm not sure that we're going to do an in-person user group. We may well put a poll out and ask for votes on whether we should or we shouldn't, but we are going to set up a user group online. And Paul, that's techie, and I get stuck, and so help me, please.
Yeah, so this came out of a conversation that I had with our friends at Hawks Conservatory. That's my daughter doing that. She says conservatory, not conservancy. Our friends at Hawk Conservancy, who said to me when I met with them that there was a previous set of online kind of chat tools, and I think it was done in Teams, and they found it really, really useful, really powerful opportunity for them to network with other Merac clients, talk about solutions to problems, and I thought it was a brilliant idea. And we had put together in Rubber Cheese an online forum for a number of different marketing activities that we had done over the last year, and as soon as Hawks Conservancy said to me about this, I immediately thought, let's take the online community that we've got in Discord for Rubber Cheese and merge it with Merac, and we could start to create a curated but vibrant online community where you can ask and answer questions of each other. We know, don't we, Andy, from watching Leo in the experience engineering team, who's got 10 years worth of experience as a Merac user. He has such great ideas about the way you can solve a problem because he practically used it in the trenches, just like all of you other customers. You can often help each other in ways that we can't because we don't have necessarily the practical operating knowledge combined with the tools. We know the tools, but you know what life is like operating. So having a community where you can share that conversation online, I think could be really beneficial. So we hope to have that ready within the next month and have that launched.
I'm going to set you a target for that. Our objective for these webinars is to go for the second Thursday of every month. So by the second Thursday of October, we will be talking to you and launching the Discord channel.
That's a deal.
So that's pretty much everything we've done on communication and service. Like I say, it's a work in progress. I'm very grateful from the positive feedback that I've received so far. Any feedback on what we're doing is very welcome because we only get this right by talking to you. So help us on the journey, please. The second area that we focused on is online bookings. These next 2 points should be no surprise to anybody, but what we were told was that it's clunky. The online booking process is difficult. And when we want to do something new with it, it's difficult to change and difficult to update. So if you change the look and feel of your main website, then it can be difficult for you to get the booking pages updated. Additionally, Paul and I, when we first met, I don't know, 4 years ago, I think every conversation we've had ever since then has all been about improving conversion rates for online experiences.
Completely.
Now, that in our field today for this conversation, that's probably all about ticket sales. But anything you're doing on a web page is there for a reason. Is it to promote your experience? Is it to talk about your collection, to provide information to academic people about the different artifacts you may have? Is it to talk about the fastest, quickest roller coaster? Is it to provide a picture of a red panda's enclosure where they're looking after their young? There's a purpose behind every web page. So the conversion rate is looking at, is that page delivering what it's there for? And in our experience, some of the current booking platform pages that we're using with the M-Store web product are converting less optimally than they could do. So this is what we're going to do. We're going to replace it. One of the things that Paul mentioned when we were talking about all of these ideas 12 months ago was that Rubber Cheese has already got some of those things and has already done some of those things. And their key one is Gulliver, which is an online e-commerce solution for selling tickets. Paul, can you give us the background on Gulliver? Where's it?
Yeah, so Rubber Cheese has been working in the attraction sector for probably close to 10 years now, starting out working with a number of malt whisky distilleries in Scotland, and then with Eureka, the National Children's Museum, and then other clients over time. We would build online e-commerce ticket sale journeys, and that ultimately became this product that we call Gulliver Ticketing. And essentially, we distilled that knowledge of optimizing the journey for those individual clients, but also used the experience, the knowledge that we have gained through the Rubber Cheese National Attraction website survey that we've been running now. This is our 4th year. We're in data collection, we're in data analysis and report writing mode at the moment. But we know from the survey that the more steps there are in a checkout process, the more customers will drop off and your conversion rate will lower. So what can we do to close the deal with the customer in as few steps with as little information as possible? Well, we can do that by optimizing the workflow, making sure that we only ask a question once of people, trying to give more modern payment methods like Apple Pay and Google Pay. If we use those modern payment methods, then my phone just jumped to life because I said Google, sorry. We know that when we use those modern payment methods, they can provide us with all the information about the customer that you could ever possibly want. And so we don't have to make the customer enter their name, their address, and their location and contact details and all of that, because we can pull that information back from Apple Pay and Google Pay. So we've proven with Gulliver that you can get down to essentially a 2-step process of checkout in some cases. In my ideal world would be something like Amazon's one-click checkout. But I think that our process is just a little bit more complex than Amazon's. We're selling something a little bit more than the classic e-commerce store. But there's little excuse for a 10-step checkout process, which is what the Rubber Cheese survey found many attractions have got. The average is an 8-step process, plus or minus 2. So you can imagine that if we get that down to a 2-step process and make it super easy for people to interact with the website, that your conversion rates will improve as a result of that.
So that's a lofty goal. Where we are today, we have 5 people working on this full time. A couple of them are on this meeting. So being very open and honest with everybody. One of the 5 actually starts work with us on Monday, so yeah. I'm looking forward slightly. but we put some significant resource behind this. The first iteration is live at Cotswolds Farm Park. Now that's very simple. It's selling general admission tickets only, but it's in and running and in and live, and you can go and see it. So if you go to Cotswolds Farm Park, top right hand corner, click the button there, second button down, book Farm Park tickets, you will see Gulliver live. If you're interested and you're only selling general admission tickets, we're just putting together the team now that will be responsible for deploying and rolling this out to other customers and delivering support. I've told Paul that we're not going to roll this out to anybody else if it stops the development effort. I do not want the development team stopping what they're doing to install this for another customer.
So I added to the dev team so you can still sell it.
Wow. Watch this space. So there's an awful lot of things that we need to do for this. So by Christmas, and this is by Christmas for the first iteration, we will test this at some test sites and have this ready to roll out by Easter. Because I have personally set myself an objective of getting close to 80% of our customers onto the new Gulliver platform by the summer. We will do time slots. The development for time slots is actually going on right now, or it was until Steve stopped and joined this meeting.
Steve put his whip away. He stopped whipping the developers and designers to come and listen to us talk.
It will do coupons, and by coupons I mean discount vouchers, gift vouchers, anything that's sort of non-cash that will amend the value of the transaction. It will do memberships. I aspire that those memberships will also support gift aid and continuous payment authorities on credit cards and debit cards, which is getting a huge amount of attention at the moment because banks have stopped printing, or some banks, Monzo, for example, don't put your sort code and your account number on your debit card anymore. So people are finding it difficult to find the details to sign up for a direct debit across the whole subscription world. So for Netflix, gym memberships, all that kind of stuff. It's going to do food ordering, which I know 4 or 5 customers have been promised for a number of years. We're actually running this as a separate thread. So we've got the 5 people are working in 2 different teams. Food ordering is the sole responsibility of one of those teams. And that's going to be the QR code on the table, scan that, and it will place your order into the Merac system. So your kitchen display printers, or your kitchen printers, your kitchen displays, everything else will work as it does today.
Order ready
and all of your reporting will work as it does today. The next step for that, which won't be by Christmas, is to take that and look at putting it onto a kiosk. A kiosk is very simply just an internet terminal in a metal box. So the key development, the big development, is actually doing the food ordering online with all of the upsells, and really like fries with that, and this is the meal deal, all that kind of stuff. But then applying that to a kiosk. Discounts and vouchers and coupons are the same thing. I didn't realise when I was writing this.
If you say it twice, though, it sounds like double the benefit.
Well, or double the work. So Steve's going to get very upset with me.
Before you carry on, we've got a couple of questions that I just want to touch on. So Charlotte Fitzgerald has said, can you share a link? Oh, no, yes, Sinead has already done that. Suzanne Halliday has said, will you look at upselling in that process? The answer to that is yes, and we've got some really interesting thoughts about upselling. And we are going to approach it in a number of different ways, okay? But we fundamentally believe at the moment that there is a risk that people are upselling, which increases the average order value of the individual order that you've got going through at that moment in time. But because of the extra complexity that upselling adds to the order process, it also reduces the conversion rate. So your total order is being, or the total income is being cannibalized by that upselling. What we want to look at doing is closing the deal super fast, so as few steps as we possibly can, and then looking to upsell in intelligent ways. So by that I mean, imagine that you have got a afternoon tea upsell. We may know through looking at your sales data that the optimal time to upsell afternoon teas is a couple of weeks in advance of somebody's arrival, because you put some effort into planning afternoon tea, and so we may find that the best way of selling afternoon tea is with a beautiful email with pictures of afternoon tea that is done in a really, attractive, glossy way. And so when we know that knowledge, we could build a upselling queue that is triggered by time and sends the right communication to the person that is likely to cause them to buy into the upsell at that point. But knowing that we've already captured them through selling their tickets to them early as simply as we possibly could. We might find, imagine again that you've got car parking and you've got an AMPR system built into your attraction. We may see that the best time to sell car parking is 7 o'clock the night before they arrive, or 8 o'clock in the morning of the day they're due to arrive. And what we might find is that you don't need to send a glossy email because there's not enough time for somebody to open an email and get bought into car parking. What they might need is a suitably worded prompt sent to them by WhatsApp with a link that enables them to buy into the upsell. So for example, we could say, have you thought about buying your car parking? Here's a link to add car parking to your order so you don't have to queue when you leave. That could be sent to them by WhatsApp or by SMS. So we're definitely thinking lots about upsell, but we still want to remain true to that thought that the fewer steps you have in the selling process, the higher your conversion rate is likely to be. Hope that answers your question, Suzanne.
So just on that, everything we have on the slide today is what we've got planned for the next 6 months.
Yes.
One of the longer term objectives behind what we're doing with Gulliver is really to look at all of the data and then make intelligent decisions from that data. So one of the things that your nominated experienced engineer should be doing with you next year is coming to you and talking to you about how your online booking process is working. And if there are things that we've picked up from looking at your site, looking at everyone else's site, understanding what everyone else is doing, that will improve your processes and improve your results, we'll tell you.
And there's some specific examples where we've started doing that already. I visited somebody the other day. I could see a couple of improvements in the process that they worked through, and we had a lovely email conversation, and we're looking to make changes to their system right now to improve the guest experience when you buy into a ticket. As you say, we need to systemize that, don't we? And make sure that the experience engineers are doing this on a regular basis. But I guess that's part of the magic of bringing Rubber Cheese together in with Merac, is all of that experience in Rubber Cheese of conversion optimization and caring about the user journey through the site. We can enrich the customer success experience, can't we, really, for the customer success managers and clients.
Very much so. I mean, we'll come on to that in much more detail in a later presentation.
We've got 20 minutes to land, and we're still on our first slide, by the way.
Yeah. The final thing that we're building into Gulliver before Christmas is gift aid. This is inextricably linked with memberships because of the annual right of return option for gift aid. So that will be ready for us to start talking to you about in January. Or all of those will be ready for us to start talking to you about in January. Next one, back office and POS. Hold tight, here we go. So what we heard from you is what we've seen ourselves is that it's actually quite an old-fashioned interface. And sometimes it's hugely complex and therefore very confusing. It's built on older technology. The functionality is generally very good. It just needs to do it in a slightly different, more modern fashion. And that neither POS or back office have really moved ahead in the last few years. Insert your own value in place of X. So what are we going to do? We're going to redo it. And that starts with our big, hairy, audacious goal. I made that one. Or I stole it from the internet somewhere. We're going to break apart some elements. At the moment, we've got everything rolled into this single application that we call back office. It doesn't necessarily all need to be there. So, for example, reporting. It doesn't make sense to me for reporting to be very tightly embedded with the back office solution. It's much easier to take it out of that and deliver a proper reporting solution using newer tools. So some of you have got a Power BI instance from us. I don't think we've done a brilliant job of deploying Power BI, and we've definitely not done a job of training you and showing you how to use Power BI. So earlier this week, I tasked one of the team with going and learning Power BI and then rewriting all of our reports in Power BI. So we can then deliver them in a more modern solution for you that does things like a graph that appears on a mobile phone showing you today's footfall. So you don't need to be going back to a PC to work out how many people are in the venue. We're going to look at pulling out some CRM functions. Suzanne, you've just asked the question, can you have input into what reports you would like without it having a huge cost? Yes, absolutely. I hope that if there's one thing I want you to walk away from this session understanding is that we're here to listen. We want your feedback. We're actively seeking your input. We're looking at CRM right now, and that's going to be on 2 different levels. So for large venues with complex systems and multiple systems, so if you're selling accommodation and you're selling tickets and you're selling retail and you're doing things online, you've got a whole host of customer data. So that needs to go into a big CRM solution somewhere and be merged together. You might have 3 instances of Paul because he's stayed in your glamping site and he's a member and he's also booked a ticket. So the big CRM system needs to merge all of those records together. We also need to do something much better on mailing and communication to customers. So one of our team has already started looking at this right now. So how do we take what we call a batch mailer product where we're charging you a ridiculous amount of money? It's not a huge amount of money, but we're charging you for sending an email. That's wrong. You need to be able to do it yourself. We need to give you the data that goes into MailChimp or another email tool, and you can do that yourselves. So we'll take that out of the back office. Dave Radford, a lot of people have asked me where he is. What are we doing with him? We're putting him in a box somewhere, in a very comfortable, well protected, well insulated box to look after him and make sure that he's still around.
He's got so much product knowledge. He is absolutely integral to this. Yeah, there is some air holes. We will make sure that fresh air and food are supplied. And he is, so his job around back office and POS is firstly to decide, to figure out what we've got, because this thing has been around for many years. It's got functionality built into it that people don't use anymore. It's got gaps in functionality that people need. So we want to figure out, we want to do that assessment of where we are, what do we need, what are the functional requirements, and I'm sure there will be opportunities for conversations with customers around as well around that. And then we're going to start to plot out what the future back office and POS will look like, and Dave is definitely going to be managing all of that design and build process around the back office and POS, because it's the core. It's at the core of what we do. But it's a core that needs a little bit of investment and a bit of TLC put into it.
Yeah, and I think one thing that we're quite sure of is the core database, again for the more technical people, that has the business rules in it is actually okay. It's the things that we have around the side that connect to that.
Yeah, absolutely.
like POS and back office. So Dave's really important, and we're utilising him in, I suppose, a probably more appropriate manner. So everybody gets the benefit of Dave's knowledge rather than the person that Dave's speaking to at whatever time it is that he's speaking to them.
Yeah.
We don't know what this is all going to look like, but we do know some things about it. It will use modern technology. It will be a proper software as a service in architecture. And that means that you don't need to go and buy specific hardware. You can install it on anything. You can access the back office via a web browser rather than having an installed application. It will be scalable, composable, and API-led. There's a lot of IT jargon in here, but there should be no reason why you couldn't go and buy a till from Square and plug that into the Merac solution using APIs. It's about giving you much more freedom of choice, much more flexibility in the tools that you can use to access it. I don't know what those tools are going to be like in 12 months' time.
We want a set of Lego bricks, don't we? When we talk about it being scalable and composable, is that each of the bits of core functionality of this product will be its own Lego brick, and you will be able to compose together the Lego bricks that you want to build a castle or spaceship or whatever it is that is really stretching my analogies to breaking point. I think you get my point.
It will be cloud first.
Yes.
We're not having servers on site anymore. And as for everything else, we're working that out right now. And Dave's leading that work, as well as doing his day job.
That is his day job, along with a few other things.
So that's it in terms of the big topics, the large areas that we're looking at. Those of you who access the meeting via the newsletter that we sent out, which will be coming out every first Wednesday of every month, will have heard us talk about the Winter Works project. Kerry warned us both that September is really busy. We get loads of requests that come in straight after the summer. So what we're trying to do is manage those requests in a more structured, project managed fashion, which is not my default position. So we've got a bunch of things that are happening that we're having to deal with. So Windows 10 Microsoft have declared that Windows 10 will be end of life from the middle of October. Now, there's nothing to stop you carry on using it at all. It's just that Microsoft won't be providing any updates or patches to Windows 10 devices. Many years ago, when I was at Merlin, we had a problem with a virus that hit Alton Towers where we were using Windows NT, which had been out of support for 2 years. It was the week before the park opened, and we had to replace 196 EPOS terminals in a week because this virus was the one that just shut the computer down in 30 seconds after it started. That was really stressful. We effectively shut down every other IT department in the company, shipped a load of people and a load of equipment up to Staffordshire to work 24 hours a day to get these machines all rolled out. That's just not a very pleasant experience. So we want to try and avoid that. We've got a bunch of credit card terminals that are also going end of life. You will see them as the Verifone P400 or the Ingenico 350, II 350, I think is the model number. Oh, it's fine. I've got photographs of them all. So they are slightly different in that they will continue to be supported for the next 3 years, but that's only priority one faults. So let's start looking at what we've got, what you're using, and understand if there's an opportunity for you to upgrade more quickly. And if there is an upgrade, what additional benefits does that give you? We found out that we have one customer who's running our main database on a Windows 7 computer, not even a server, a computer. I think Windows 7 went out of support 7 years ago, something like that. I don't know, a long time. So we're going to do something about hosting. We will be hosting our main databases with Microsoft in their Azure service. That gives you the ability, or gives us the ability, to buy server time by the second. So we will start using more modern tools like that.
there's lots of real benefits to using Azure. You'll be guaranteed green hosting. You will also have the benefit of it being, if I use tech jargon, it's elastic hosting. It can grow to meet the demands of individual businesses. So if you know that you have more traffic during the summer holidays, then you could potentially expand the capacity of your hosting during that busy time and scale it back when it's quiet. So there's lots of real advantages to moving the hosting up into the Azure cloud.
And then the final bit that we've talked about on the WinterWorks is CapScan or postcode lookup. Everybody, or most people I talk to know it's CapScan. I've done some research. CapScan is end of life. It was replaced by a product called Matchcode. Matchcode is also end of life. So we're now on to generation 3, and there's a product called Locate that does postcode and address verification. So we want to make sure that everybody's on a supportable version and an appropriately licensed version, which is possibly more important. With the postcode lookups, it's the post office or His Majesty's government that charges for the license fee for using those postcode lookups. So it's appropriate for you to be correctly licensed. Final one, Anya, it's almost like I had anticipated your question. Hardware. So we are in the process of recruiting a hardware engineer to run our hardware team. That's probably 3-4 weeks away from completion. And after that, we will come back to you with updates on hardware support. The hardware engineer is going to be running this replacement project for the Windows 10 machines. And our objective behind doing this, I didn't say this at the start, our objective behind doing this as a big project is that we can negotiate a better price from our suppliers on buying in bulk. And we want to pass on that saving to you guys. And also building 50 terminals at the same time is obviously much more effective at than building 5 a week over a period of 10 weeks. So yeah, again, we want to make this as cost effective as we possibly can for you.
And wouldn't it be great if whoever it is that is doing setup and deployment does all the setup and deployment for one attraction in one go, as opposed to, it's like when the roads get dug up by the gas and the electric and they happen weeks apart. Well, we want to try and project manage it properly so that we do all of these activities that we know many people need. We want to try and batch together, don't we, and get the efficiencies out of that by focusing on an attraction at a time, as opposed to keep having to return to do just one more thing.
So gone are the days of you being asked for $3,500 for a replacement POS terminal. It will be significantly less money than that. That's the end of the deck and the end of my animation. I was hoping we were going to have a little bit more than 7 minutes left to pick up questions, although we have been fielding things from people as we've been talking. So the forum's yours. Does anybody want to ask anything?
Feel free to raise your hands. There's a little raise hand button if you like, and I can enable your microphone potentially.
Any other comments, questions, or thoughts or feedback? Zandy, silence.
Claire, you said skip the queue, question mark. I'm going to try and get Claire. Oh, can I do this? Can I do this? I'm unlocking your microphone now, Claire. Why don't you come and ask your question?
Hello, chaps.
Hello.
Hello. I did think you have some more skills which you've been hiding under your bushel, which is your Skip the Queue podcast which I think a lot of our customers would enjoy if they don't already know about.
Okay, so Skip the Queue is a podcast that Rubber Cheese has been running we've been doing this for 7 years now. We're entering our 7th season. It is a podcast which is targeted at, well, we aim to tell the stories of the amazing visitor attractions that we work with, or that we meet, or that we know when we go to conferences and that kind of thing, and the amazing people that work in those attractions. So Andy has convinced me to run the podcast weekly now. So we are talking to lots of people. We've started the recordings of season 7. There's a real mixture of the type of format that we approach. So sometimes it will be an in-depth interview that we will do with somebody, and it will be a video-based episode, and we capture all the audio of it and publish it on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. But also more and more we are going out and about. So I've just come back a couple of days ago from the Association for Science and Discovery Centres conference. I know that there were some of our customers there, and I interviewed the chief exec, the director of the National Science and Media Museum, Glasgow Science Centre, the founder of Exeter Science Centre, and the education and community officer from the International Centre for Life. And that was much more a kind of a conversation all about the conference that we were at, and the interesting things that we had heard whilst we were there. So different formats, different types of interview and approach to this. We are off to IAPA in 2 weeks' time, and we'll be doing daily episodes from IAPA. So Wendelin and Steve, our production and editorial team, will be furiously editing through the night to make sure that our episodes go out the following morning. So if you're interested in Skip the Queue, don't go to skipthequeue.fm, or you can search for it on Apple Podcasts or Spotify or the podcasting platform of your choice. And if you enjoy it, please do leave a review. It does help other listeners to find us.
We will also be taking Skip the Queue out on the road further. So last year we were at the NFAN conference in Blackpool in January. We'll take Skip the Queue to the NFAN conference in January 26th. We'll be in touch with Biaza to see about taking the Skip the Queue there. So if there are associations or conferences, anything like that that you go to where you think it might be useful or interesting for us to attend, then please do let us know. Yeah. And if you're going to one of these conferences where we are, drop by and say hello. We might get a snippet of you on the podcast.
Suzanne has said, who do you need to speak to about problems that you've got? And Claire, I think you've shared the phone number. We will come out with more details shortly about the new support system and email addresses that you'll use if you're contacting support. We'll let you know when we're moving from system to system, because obviously you'll need to be a little patient with us for the couple of days around that period. But as we say, phone number is really the best way to get hold of the experienced engineers.
And I'd assume from the thumbs up on that comment from Claire that Claire's already looking up your phone number, Suzanne. Absolutely, she's just said she'll call.
Is it 7-day cover? Yes, we do provide support 7 days a week, and yes, they will be providing telephone cover during the weekends. So same as it is at the moment. Essentially, all we're doing with the support phone line is opening it up and saying you don't have to send low priority tickets via the support portal and only talk to us for a P1 issue. We just want to talk to you. Get these things off your chest so that we can take control of it straight away. David, you've got your hand up, and I've got 1 minute before I crash the pit, so I'm going to unlock your microphone. Oh gosh. David, allow mic. There you go, mate.
Hi, Andy. Hi, Paul. Very nice to meet you.
And you, David.
Can you actually hear me? I wasn't sure.
Yes,
perfectly.
Okay.
Yeah.
Perfect. Thank you again for the presentation. I think it's been really helpful. Just going back to one of the points you made in the presentation, I know that you've got big plans for the product and so on, and about extracting, components from the application into separate modules and so on. I was just wondering, I know that this is going to be a phased approach, but do you actually have a roadmap of what the plans are and timescales associated with each of those changes, just so that we can get some insight?
I absolutely promise you that is the focus of Steve's attention at the moment, because we had our one-to-one this morning, and I talked to him about exactly that. So yeah, we're put in terms of Gulliver. We've got a clear understanding of what the features of Gulliver are that we will be releasing up to Christmas. The other phases, so new POS and new back office, we're still in the process of trying to take stock and understand where we are. So it's going to take us longer to have a roadmap around new POS and new back office. But watch this space. We'll definitely, as soon as we have something to share, we'll get it out to you.
Okay, fantastic. Thank you.
And on that specifically, Dave, we haven't actually stopped development of the existing product. So there are a bunch of projects in flight when we acquired the company that we needed to complete. And we're just getting to the end of all of those now, I hope, which will obviously free up the time and space to scope out the new product. Our intention, or my expectation, is that the functionality will be like for like. And the new product will match may not do things in the same way, but the business issues that we're addressing will all be covered.
Okay.
And then we start adding additional functionality onto that. There's a load of stuff that's coming that our whole digital world's changing. We just need to be on the front foot with that.
Yeah, thank you.
And a lot of that newer functionality will migrate into Gulliver. Because my gut feel is that we'll deliver POS through a web browser. I don't know whether that's where we're going to end up, but my gut feel at the moment is that we'll do it through a browser. So all the stuff that we're developing in Gulliver is actually going to be available in a browser. So
yeah,
sounds great.
we have fantastically crashed the pips.
Sorry,
it's 2 minutes. Relax.
It's been a really, really good session, hasn't it? And I think we need to do more of these. We've got plans that we need to share. We've got stories to tell, haven't we? And it would be great if you guys can come back and join us again in a month's time, and we'll carry on the conversation then. David, thank you for your help. Everybody else who popped questions into the channel, thank you ever so much. And we will share the slides. We've been recording this, so we will share the recording as well. And if you've got any other questions, reach out to your CSM in the Experience Engineering team. And I'm sure they will help to get your thoughts onto next month's webinar agenda.
And
thanks, guys.
Feel free to contact either one of us.
Of course.
Our contact details are on screen. We're both quite active on LinkedIn. And we're going to be out and about. So you'll see us. Thank you, everybody, for your attention.
Thanks, everyone. Bye-bye.